for joining us. As you well know, Israel's war cabinet is trying to come up with a response to Iran's attack. Can you share any details about the military or diplomatic options being discussed?
Thank you for having me on, Wolf. We can't speculate and share too much information, of course, on air because the steps forward are still being considered right now as we speak. We're weighing our way forward. Israel will make its own considerations, of course, just like any country would have had it been attacked by more than 100 ballistic missiles fired directly from Iran to its territory. We're speaking about more than 60 tons of explosives that were fired our way, according to the IDF spokesperson. We're not going to allow this to become some sort of a new routine, something the kind of which we've had with Gaza, you know, where Hamas targeted us, rained missiles on our communities for more than 16 years. After October 7th, we say no more. And it's no secret that on October 7th, our sense of security was very much shattered, and we're working to restore it. So there's not going to be any compromise on the security of the Israeli people, not when it comes to Hamas in Gaza and not when it pertains to Iran. And the prime minister articulated this concept by which we're acting, that we're not seeking wars. You know that. We always sought peace. We're seeking peace in the region, and we have a record to prove that. But if somebody's trying to hurt us, if somebody's threatening to hurt us, we will hurt them.
It's interesting, Tal, just a little while ago, a top advisor to the Iran Revolutionary Guard told Iranian state news that Tehran will not show any restraint, quote, in the face of enemy aggression against its red lines. Will that impact Israel's calculation?
So, of course, we don't want to see a full-fledged war. As you know, maybe I should even say the Islamic Republic here and not Iran, because as you know, Iran and Israel, Iran and the United States, back in the day, we used to have pretty much good relations. So we know where the aggression came from after the Iranian Revolution. Iran has been trying to hurt us, threatening to hurt us, hurting us for many, many years via their proxies, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the militias, the Houthis, the militias in Iraq, the militias in Syria, Hezbollah. We're not going to allow that to happen. As I said, there's not going to be any kind of compromising on our security. And from biblical times to modern times, you've had these people trying to annihilate the Jewish people, like the Ayatollahs are now calling to wipe us off the map. The difference now, Wolf, is that we're no longer stateless. We're no longer defenseless. And yes, some people out there don't like the fact that Jews are able to defend themselves. We don't just die, but we're going to prevail. We're going to live. We cherish life, but we're dealing with death cults.
Tal, the White House officials are telling us that if President Biden, they wouldn't say directly if President Biden urged Prime Minister Netanyahu in their phone conversation to exercise restraint in its response to Iran. Has the Prime Minister received any such message from the President of the United States?
Well, the messages between the President and the Prime Minister in a private conversation will remain private, but I can tell you that they definitely spoke about the fantastic coordination, really phenomenal execution that we saw over the weekend. Israel, its regional partners, and of course, with the help of our best friend, the United States, we were able to repel over 99% of the aerial threats that came our way. If it's these explosive drones, the ballistic missiles, the cruise missiles, Iran, we should remember, aimed to cause a lot of damage in civilian lives and infrastructure damage, but thankfully most of the missiles and drones weren't able to cross into our territory. There was minor damage to infrastructure, and as we're speaking, by the way, Wolf, there is a 7-year-old Muslim Bedouin girl, an Israeli Arab, that she got hurt from, severely injured from debris. She's still fighting for her life, but it could have been a much more devastating result. But we were able not only to repel this attack, but also to send together an unequivocal, very important message to Iran. Don't mess with us. Don't mess with the free world. We see you for what you are. You're the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, the biggest destabilizer out there, a dangerous, poor regime that cares more about annihilating a sovereign country than taking care of its own civilians.
Tal Heinrich, a spokesperson for the Israeli government, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.